Picture this. You wake up, check your phone, and instantly you're your own boss. No alarm clock from the man, no punch-in system, no performance reviews. Instead, you've built an empire out of Google Calendar invites, habit tracking apps, and a relentless inner voice whispering, you could always be doing more. That, my friends, is the core revelation of Byung-Chul Han's The Burnout Society. It's not just another self-help cliche about time management or productivity hacks. Han argues we've been stealthily recruited into what he dubs the Achievement Society, where we willingly trade the inconvenience of a real boss for the far more exhausting tyranny of being our own ceaseless taskmaster. Think about your last week. Did you schedule rest? And how did that feel? If you, like me, even downtime becomes a checkbox, a performance metric. Congratulations, you blocked off 30 minutes for meditation. But did you really meditate well enough? Our brains have become benchmarking machines, ranking and rating every micro moment of our lives. And when we inevitably lag behind our own impossible standards, whose fault is that? Never us. The system. Here's something that hit me like a ton of bricks. Burnout isn't a personal bug or failure. It's the operating system. Imagine software that never pauses, updates, that only knows one command, go harder. You're not weak. You're not failing because you're lazy or disorganized. You're failing because the software you're running on is designed to keep you spinning until you explode. That realization felt like permission. Permission to stop believing that every second you're not optimized is a second you're letting yourself down. But before we dive deeper, let me share a quick story. Last month, I scheduled myself rest for a solid hour. I was right in the middle of a writing marathon. Calendar invitation sent, remind me, and it dinged. And I just sat there looking at the invite and thought, great, now I have to perform even while I'm resting. I felt guilty for not rising above the pull of my to-do list. That's when Han's words echoed in my head. We've become athletes of achievement. Even our rest has become a high-performance sport. So have you ever glanced at your own calendar and thought, I'm a to-do list with feelings? If so, welcome to the club. We're all swimming in this toxic water. Han compares it to invisible pollution that seeps into every pore of our energy and ambition. And once you recognize the contamination, there's no going back to blissful ignorance. But let's pause and dismantle that feeling of being on the brink. What does burnout look like in real life? For some, it's checking Instagram at midnight when you know you should be sleeping. For others, it's the guilt of spiraling after hitting skip on a workout because you're just exhausted. And for many, it's that constant background hum of anxiety, the fear that if you stop for even a moment, your carefully constructed personal brand will crumble. Han doesn't hand out tidy solutions, so there's no 5 steps to beat burnout checklist here. Instead, he offers something far more powerful: awareness. He pulls back the curtain on this achievement apparatus so we can see that the problem isn't us, it's the system. And that shift in perspective is the first step towards real change. Imagine 2 paths: the default path where you keep subscribing to every productivity promise, habit trackers, bullet journals, Pomodoro timers, until your brain is a data input window and your heart is exhausted. The second path, where you recognize the toxicity and say, no thanks. You give yourself permission to redefine rest, to carve out spaces, not for productivity, but for genuine unproductivity, art for art's sake, aimless walks, conversations that don't serve any KPI. It's not about flipping a switch overnight. It's about noticing where you're still playing by the achievement rules and experimenting with small rebellions. Maybe you leave your phone in another room for an hour, or maybe you just refuse to log your steps for a day. Or maybe you book unproductive time in your calendar, and this time you don't judge yourself for not measuring it. Over the next few videos, we're going to unpack some of Han's ideas, exploring how this achievement logic sneaks into every corner of our lives, and brainstorm real, doable ways to start paddling in a different direction. No dogmatic rules or guilt trips, just permission to search for a version of you that isn't constantly evaluating your own performance. So if you're tired of the self-branding marathon, if you're exhausted from optimizing rest like it's another productivity hack, you're in the right place. Let's treat rest not as a reward, but as a protest. Let's rediscover what it feels like to live beyond the spreadsheet of our own making. Are you ready to stop performing for yourself and start living for yourself? So subscribe to our channel and follow along with the fabulous Burnout series, where we look at exactly how you can take action.